Hi, we're live.
Hello, everybody.
This is time for the breakdown that happens on Tuesdays
Let's do it.
or more. I'm Jeff. This is John.
Hello.
I decided didn't want to just keep having breakdowns all alone. So John and I are going to have a breakdown together. Actually,
sounds good.
We're going to talk a little bit about what happened Sunday, a little bit about what's happening in the coming days. But the reason I've invited John along is because it's time for an update on the youth room rebuild.
Yeah. So we have good news and also good news.
Well, let's start by going in the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
About 5 months,
right?
We're going back in the past, getting your DeLorean. We had a business meeting.
Yes.
Actually, it's a year ago now.
Yes,
it was a year ago. It was April of last year when we went to the congregation and said the youth room needs to be renovated.
Yes.
I believe the word armpit of the church was used.
That is very true. That's a Burt Robinson word, and we have used it to this day.
Specifically the cafe up there.
That's probably the worst part. If you ever want to go see some fun exposed wiring, it's not actually exposed wiring. It's just not great. There's a lot of stuff just kind of sticking out of the walls. It's pretty old.
Yeah.
Our fridge up there, we think, was original to the building.
1971.
Yeah, so we got rid of that. It needs a lot of fixing up.
So where the youth area is used to be the sanctuary of the church back in the 70s and 80s before the Octagon was built in 1987, I believe. So it has been many things over the years. It's been a youth room. It's been classrooms. It's been children's area. It's been a sanctuary. It's been offices. So it's been renovated a lot.
Right. But it's also been renovated a lot in a way where you can see, oh, this was put in here, and this was put in here, and this was put in here. And so it kind of looks like a lot of piecemeal things that form one common area.
So when we proposed last April that we needed a special fund to the tune of $79,000, one of the topics that came up in that discussion was, is there still asbestos up there?
Right.
And do you remember what the answer was in that conversation last April?
It depends on who you asked. So some of it was, no, we got completely rid of it. And no, it's fine. Or we're not sure. Yes, no, maybe. It was kind of all over the place.
Yes. So we did our due diligence and research. The congregation at that point did vote to open the fund to raise the $79,000.
Right.
And then we went and looked at old documentation.
Right.
And as it turns out, there was a modification up there in the early 2000s where certain asbestos was abated.
Yes. Right. And the rest of it was unaffected because there was still paint over top of it, so it was not seeping out in any way.
So in bathrooms and tile work in the entryways, things like that, asbestos was abated then.
Right.
But not all of the asbestos that's up there.
No.
Not that it's been a problem because it's been painted.
Right.
But if we're going to knock down walls,
which we are,
now there is
asbestos.
Asbestos.
Yep. Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. So
what does that mean?
So what that means is we, through a lot of work that Carla and Steven and I have done, we went and talked to a number of different companies to try to figure out what was the best way to get rid of the asbestos, to get the job moving, to make sure we were all up to code permit-wise through the county and through the state. And we did find and contract with a company to abate all the asbestos up there. But what that also means is the work that we were going to do, for example, we need a lot of new outlets upstairs. If you go into the youth room right now and you look at one entire wall of the youth room, the entire north wall has one. The entire south wall has two. And we have things like a sound system and a worship team and all these sorts of things that just need, even we joke about with the youth leaders, whenever somebody needs to vacuum up there, it is always sort of a puzzle to figure out where is the nearest outlet. So if you're putting new outlets in, you have to move stuff out of the walls. If we're putting new lighting in, we have to move stuff out of the ceiling. And so in order to do the abatement to make the work thorough, but also the benefit of that is it's also going to give us kind of a cleaner, a more square look to the walls and to the ceiling where we can actually recess the lighting. We weren't actually going to be able to do that before. And that would have been pretty rough having kids, throw stuff
on a pretty short ceiling
with puck lights coming down.
Yeah.
So now that's all the case, the abatement that's going to happen is going to tear down a whole lot of walls. It's going to tear down the entire ceiling in the youth room, plus the stuff that they're going to be tearing down generally just to make room for doors and get rid of the room with the couches, all that kind of stuff. All that together also means we're paying the cost of the abatement, but now that all the walls are leaving, we have to pay for more parts, labor, and time to put those walls and the ceiling back in.
So just like a home improvement project,
yes,
where you start by changing a light bulb in the living room, and by the time you're done, you have new cabinets.
Yeah,
where it's not that bad,
right?
But there is a moving target here. Once we found out about the asbestos needing to come out, that carries with it a certain price tag.
Yeah.
So the elders looked at that. The finance team looked at that and said, "Yeah, we can't do anything if we don't do that."
Right.
So that added a certain dollar figure to the cost that we weren't sure we were going to have to deal with before.
Right.
But then after that happens, now the design shifts a bit. And so a year ago, we approved $79,000 fundraising fund.
Yeah.
Which I believe we've raised over 60 of that to this point. There was another 30,000 approved in the budget to go to the project.
Right.
So as of last April, the budgeted number of what we expected the project to cost or hoped the project would cost, give or take, was about $109,000. And now, with all of this abatement and the new design and the new schedule locked in, the total is
somewhere closer to 166,000, I think.
Okay, so it went up about
58, something like that.
Which, okay, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
And again, the finance team looked that over, the elders looked that over. We're like, yeah, I mean, budgets, you don't anticipate everything. You anticipate what you can.
Right.
This moving target actually gets us a better product in the end. And it's a whole new budget year.
Right.
Where we're learning this. We did not swing hammers last summer like we had thought. So the delay has also been okay for us to revisit some of these things.
Yeah.
So at this point, the approval to raise that number came through the people that need to approve that.
Right. Yeah. We had a meeting. Carla and I put a bunch of numbers together where we looked at all the differences between what's it going to cost for all the new walls? What's it going to cost for the outlets that we're putting in? What's it going to cost for the type of lighting that we're going to put in? Is that going to be cheaper? Is that going to be more expensive? All those sorts of things. So we went to the elders first to kind of say, hey, here's the new deal. What should we do going forward? The elders directed me to say, talk it over with the finance team and make sure they're okay. So
make sure all the policies we have in place to keep exploding costs down are being met.
Right. And they said, yeah, that's okay. That's a reasonable request that you're making. And so go. And so I talked with Carla and said, let's talk to the abatement people since they're the first shoe to drop in this whole thing. And so they'll be abating all of our asbestos starting February 22nd, which means we're moving out of the youth room tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. If anybody's free tomorrow night and you don't have any other commitments to adult ed, you can always come and help the youth because we're going to be moving a whole lot of stuff out of the room tomorrow night at 6:30.
Because the abatement people are coming next week.
Right.
Will the rest of the building be safe while they are pulling walls down that have asbestos in them?
Yes, we have every guarantee from that group that entire process will be completely sealed and safe.
And it'll only take a couple days.
Right. And we doubled down on that, especially because we know our proximity to the kids ministry room and to our offices. And honestly, the offices, that's just staff. But especially being right next to the kids, we wanted to make sure that was especially 100% certified true. And it is.
Good.
So, yeah.
So that's kind of an update we want to give to you guys. Why the process, how it's working. This is not a massive ballooning project. We wondered if there was asbestos. We found out. And so it moves the target a little bit, but that's still within the range of the target we wanted. So we're going to keep that fund open. You can green envelope or make a decision if you give online for the youth room fund. And yeah, we'll just keep it open. And grow it out. The finance team, though, said we're okay to do it with the resources we have now. It's not going to break our bank. We have a pretty good savings scenario. So just wanted to let you know about that because we need to get moving on it before the next April meeting. So we'll talk about a little bit from the pulpit in coming weeks as well, in case there are people, and there are many of you who aren't watching this video and don't even know I'm talking to you right now.
It's true.
But for those of you who are watching, now you know.
Yeah.
Other things that happened on Sunday, we went through the death of Ahab.
Yeah.
And the foolishness of Jehoshaphat. And the random arrow from Kyle, the Israelite soldier.
Yeah.
Or no, it would have been the Syrian
guy.
Kyle from Damascus.
Yeah, just randomly. I don't know.
Pew.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
God directs the hearts of kings like a water course, it says in Proverbs.
Yeah. And
apparently he also directs arrows from the sky.
Yeah, there's a whole lot in the Bible about events that are seemingly random. And every single time you should probably, put air quotes on that phrase.
Do you know the Hebrew word for arrows falling from the sky?
Nope.
Jorah.
Ah, I do know that word.
It's also the word for autumn rains, the late rains that bless your land.
Had no idea.
It also means arrows falling from the sky.
Ah.
It's an apt name.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good name to be named.
What is coming up is this coming week, we are going to be talking about Elijah's end of the story. His passing the mantle to Elisha.
Yeah.
And his end is much more glorious than Ahab's.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then in 2 weeks from now, 2 Sundays away, you'll be preaching.
I will.
On
Jezebel's end.
Jezebel's grisly demise.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob. Thanks for checking in. So you won't want to miss those. We kind of wanted to just line up the ends of the 3 main characters we've been dealing with, Elijah, Ahab, Jezebel, in subsequent weeks. We also have a couple weeks after that, before Holy Week. We'll be delving into some of Elisha's stories because they're also epic tales of stuff.
Yeah.
We've been talking too. Elijah, I mentioned on Sunday, kind of like an old Western character.
Yep.
Elisha, the more I read about his adventures, like I always thought Elijah has these miraculous things and he's this great prophet and this tough guy. And then Elisha is kind of, he's the second. So he's a little bit less.
Like Moses and Joshua.
A little bit. Well, more like Moses and Aaron, maybe.
Okay.
Is how I've always viewed it.
Yeah. Sorry for all you Joshua fans out there. That's just my own.
But Elisha gets a double portion. And the stuff Elisha does.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's so much more of it compared to Elijah. But with Elisha, what's great is I kind of feel like he's constantly face palming because he's surrounded by morons.
That's true.
That's the Elisha tone. It's like, hey, Elisha, I borrowed that axe. Can you help out? Hey, Elisha, this soup tastes funny. Can you fix it?
Yep.
Oh, we're surrounded. We're going to lose this battle. So I'm looking forward to doing some Elisha stuff.
Yeah, he's kind of in the line of Samuel, right? Same type of like, Samuel, what do you think we should do about this? Guys,
come on.
Stop it.
Yeah. Hey, I heard Naaman wanted to give you money. How come you didn't take it? Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be fun. And then we have a men's game night on Friday.
Yes. If you fancy yourself a board gamer, which I do.
On Sunday, I dared people to come and beat me. And I postured as if I can't be beaten at board games. He was in the congregation and gave me that look.
Yeah.
Because he's beaten me several times.
Yeah, it's pretty even.
My son, Micah, has beaten me every time. So, but I feel like with a men's event, you kind of need to bait the hook and make it competitive, right?
It's true.
If you're a real man, come and beat me.
Yeah. Yep. And I've been talking with Quentin Biddy about all this stuff because he's been throwing things together. And if you have never played a board game in your life, or you really don't like board games because the only board game you can think of is Monopoly, we're gonna find you a good one, and we'll be able to teach you new things. Don't feel like this is only for people like me who have just a basement ready to play 1,000 board games with you. If you want to play something that takes 10 minutes, we'll have some games that take 10 minutes. It's going to be a really good time. So,
and the ladies' event on Saturday looks awesome too. And that's partially because we both have talked about the artistic side, the creative side of faith, and how we're very much raised in this kind of rationalism.
Yeah.
And the Free Church being historically, we're people of the word. Here's what we're supposed to think. But to actually process artistically and creatively that side of our faith and our mind. And I think there's something really cool to that. And it's not just masculine, feminine.
Right.
It's how we're all made.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a really cool event, 2:00 for the ladies on Saturday.
Yeah. You can't go through the stories of Elijah or Elisha without a little bit of imagination at play. You got to be able to think about and see and visualize. And so, the way words are used to kind of convey images in those stories are so good. It's just so good.
Well, and that reminds me, we'll wrap up with this because we're trying to keep these a little shorter than they used to be.
That's right.
The imagination idea is the topic of a podcast I'm editing that we did that will be released soon.
It's coming.
And what was that? Was that because I did this? It gave me that. Wow.
If no other people are seeing this during the course of the video, that's going to be really strange.
We're getting weird pop-up icons of fireworks and thumbs up.
Yeah. We just had, if you didn't see it, there was a perfectly placed thumbs up just perfectly around Jeff's head.
See if it had does it again.
Nope. Oh, there it is.
Hey!
And fireworks and stuff.
And if you can't see that, then we look like idiots.
That's okay.
Which is fine.
Yep.
The other episode we are about to release is a theology of
ghosts.
A theology of ghosts.
It's one of my favorite podcast episodes that we've done.
So we have those that we're editing and should be releasing very soon, and then we're going to record a bunch more quite soon, post haste.
Yeah.
So we'll send you push notifications when those go up through the church app, but look for them soon. Imagination and ghosts. And until next time, it's always my head.
I don't know why.